How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today I'm giving you some of the best reasons to call Parker, Colorado home, and we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Evertson. Listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons to moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is the channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon you see on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I try to get a little creative here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. And we are helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see, know that I am always the person answering your phone calls, answer your texts, answer your emails, there when in if you need me. Now that we have that fun-filled stuff out of the way, let's get to what we're here for, and that is the best reasons to call Parker, Colorado home. All right, so good old Parker, Colorado, located southeast of downtown Denver. Most people, the commute would either take you down I-25, over on 225 over to Parker Road and farther south. But Parker also has access to E-470, which is how it's going to commute primarily to get up to the airport. So even though where it's located, and we're going to talk through all of that, Parker actually has pretty good access to the airport. It's a toll road, but what's a few bucks if you're going to the airport anyway? So Parker is in pretty high regard to begin with. To kind of give you an idea, niche.com rates it in its top 25 as far as state of Colorado for young professionals, for best suburbs overall, and it ranks at number 34 out of 72 communities as far as best suburbs to raise a family. And I think what you're going to hear right off the bat about Parker, what we're going to talk about, is that there is definitely a family-friendly vibe. I use the term vibe, sorry folks, about Parker. And that's something that you're going to hear from people in the community. That's not to say singles can't live there. It's not to say that young or old or whatever the case, but it does have a very friendly family atmosphere to it. Parker is also one of those areas that is, a lot of it is highly renovated or newly renovated, and it's growing fast, but it still has a bit of that small town feel to it. And when you explore it, I think you get a sense of that very quickly. At least that was my experience and the experience of many that shared theirs with me. So the second thing to really be impressed about with Parker is all of its housing options. So Parker really gives you a lay of just about anything you want, whether you're talking about detached homes, townhomes, condos, apartments, places that have been around for decades, places that are brand new, places that could use a little fixing up, places that are just sharp as a tack. And as far as price points, you can find, and we'll talk about this, you can find townhomes and condos that are in the 300, 400, 500 range. Or if you're looking to spend, you've got places that are in the multiple of millions. And along with all these different housing options are just some very cool communities to explore. And I'm going to talk in depth about a handful of them later in this video. But when you explore Parker, you just see a very cool sense of community, some very great neighborhoods to explore, and really just a place that puts you in a comfortable mood. And that's the best way I can describe it. When I started making these videos a while back, I really spent more time in Parker than I ever have. And especially on a summer day, you get out there and you just feel very homey in a good way. The third thing you're going to like about Parker, listen, whether you have kids going to them or not, is how highly rated the schools are in the area. Usually get a 9.9 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 rating on most sites as a minimum. Teacher to student ratio there is about 17-1, which is pretty solid, at least by numbers that I have compared to. So I always say, whether or not, again, you have kids, whether or not your kids are going to school in the area, schools are always going to be important, especially for those of you who are thinking about buying a home, because whether you need them or the next person does, schools are always going to play a factor in home values. And it always seems to be, the better the schools, the better your value is going to be there. Parker also has a high school graduation rate of 86%, which is actually 5% higher than the state average. So in good shape in general with Parker education. So the fourth thing that you're going to really like about Parker is that it's home to a lot of just outdoor activities, open space, trails. It's home to the Cherry Creek Regional Trail, which is 40 miles of looping trails. just, you know, a lot of really cool activities to get out and about and do. Parker itself has 380 acres of parks. It's got 1,300 acres of open space. It's got 38 miles of independent trails outside of the Cherry Creek Regional, and it's got 5 acres of off-leash dog park. And I don't know about you, I have a dog that I wish I could go anywhere else off leash, but I have to go to these parks where if he runs a mile from me, at least he's gonna come back at some point. So a lot of dog parks, a lot of fun activities. If you want to be outdoors, Parker's going to be a great community for that. I feel like the last 30 seconds was some of the most clunkiest language I've used in a video. I'm going to apologize ahead of time, but I'm going to ask my editor to leave it in because you just need to hear how clumsy I get when I'm talking about dogs being off leash. And the fifth thing you're really gonna like about Parker is all the festivities, like all the festives they have there. When I talk about kind of the small town feel, and a lot of this is right around the downtown area. Downtown Parker, very cool area, and O'Brien Park right there. So within that, they have Parker Days. They have Trunk or Treat for Halloween. They've got Fall Day. They've got Art in the Park. So, you know, number 5 to kind of surmise this is both the festives and also the fact that you've got this really cool downtown, old town Parker. So it really wraps in that feeling of this growing community that still has that small town feel. And I know I keep repeating that, but I'm telling you, one of the very first days that I just hung out in Parker was a Saturday afternoon, midsummer, you know, beautiful day, and you'd pull into a park and there was, you know, 3 or 4 baseball fields full of kids playing. There's an equestrian farm, right, you know, or excuse me, equestrian park right next to it. So a bunch of people riding horses, kids on bikes all over the place, adults walking around. It's just a very warm community. It's the best way I could describe it. Now, there are a couple knocks on Parker, and I mean, one kind of minor, I think, and one that, I mean, is pretty significant. First knock is that there's, and this is from people I've talked to there, not a lot of nightlife, right? Not a lot of clubs, not a lot of, you know, big restaurants. You're not going to get out and about. If you want kind of the later evening or the lights and bright stuff, you're going to want to head to, you know, downtown Denver. Chances are for that. I don't know if that's, again, a huge knock. I've said this in other videos. I don't think there's a lot of suburbs where, you know, just the nightlife is popping. But Parker is a suburb. It's a little calm there. The second thing, and this is probably more important to you, is that the average cost of housing in Parker has increased by 192% in the last 13 years. Most of that in the last handful of years. To give you an idea, that's more than twice the amount of the national average. National average was 95% over the same period of time. It's 192% in Parker. So because of the desirability of this community, Parker is probably the most, I would imagine it's one of, if not the most desirable locations on the eastern side of Denver. And so that affordability is going to continue to increase as we move forward. And I wanted to wrap up by giving you 4 communities that you might want to explore if you're looking at Parker. And these aren't the only communities, they're just places that really stood out to me and I wanted to make sure I spoke about here. The first being Stonegate, which is on the north side of Parker. And Stonegate, again, you talk about all the living options. You've got your apartments, condos, townhomes, detached homes. Most of these are all master plan communities. We're talking about communities where they structured in a way, they really thought about what the community is going to look like. You know, they have multiple pools for people. They have walking trails linking different, you know, neighborhoods or parts of neighborhoods to parks and different amenities. So Stonegate's going to be very popular there. And in comparison to some of the other communities I'm going to talk about, it is on the more affordable side. That's all going to be perception, you know, depending on your price point, but Stonegate can be a bit more affordable. Homes tend to be a little closer together. You don't see as big of yards as you might in some of the others we're going to cover, but Stonegate's a very cool place to look at. Next is Pradera. Pradera is south of Parker, built around a private golf course. You're going to get a sense of that as well. There's a lot of golf courses that these communities are built around. But Pradera, on the other end, you're not going to have all of the different types of houses. They're all detached houses. But Pradera, you're not going to have the same, living options, if you will. You're not going to see apartments, townhomes. Everything is detached homes there. Most of them tract homes, but you'll see some custom builds there. And because of that, you're going to see the price point in Pradera increase in comparison overall to a Stonegate. So as an example, when I was doing research for this, Stonegate, your mid-range, your average price point was somewhere in the mid 600s, and you can get lower if you're looking at condos and townhomes. Whereas if you're looking at Pradera, the average price point as I was making this video was right around 1.25, 1.3 million. Slight little adjustment, don't even worry about it. Close to Pradera, but on the southeast side of Parker, is the Pinery. And Pinery is going to be, if you're looking at Parker, that's probably a community you're going to hear a lot about. It gets mentioned quite a bit. Pinery, because there's pine trees, you just kind of feel a bit more foresty in that community. Not quite the same price point that you see over in Pradera. Not cheap. The average price point, again, as I was making this video, was right around 900,000. But that community there, you tend to see bigger lots. So the homes there, you tend to see larger homes on larger lots. The community's been around a bit longer, so some of the houses could use some updating, and that's kind of one of the things that people run into, is you have these really big houses, and it costs a good amount of money to restore or update homes that are multiple thousands of square feet. But the Pinery's going to be one of your most popular. And shocking, the Pinery is also built around a very cool golf course. So if you're a golfer and you're looking to live in a neighborhood, Parker might be a suburb that you explore in depth. And the last community I would suggest you explore, you explore all of them in Parker, it's amazing, but that's Canterbury Crossing. So Canterbury Crossing is east of downtown Parker. There's actually parts of Canterbury Crossing where you can walk. You're really close to Main Street, so you could walk down to Main Street, Parker, and be downtown with those amenities. Canterbury Crossing has, again, all of your living options. Again, when I say that, condos, apartments, townhomes, detached, a little bit of everything, varying price points, a little more affordability, but just a very cool neighborhood. And especially if you want to be near downtown. It's not like downtown Parker is this massive thing, but if you want that amenity, you want a little bit of that lifestyle, that's a great neighborhood for you to explore. Shocking, it's also near a golf course that seemed to be, when I was getting ready to make this video, I had a friend that lives in Parker who said, don't talk about neighborhoods in Parker without mentioning golf courses. So here I am talking about golf courses. But it has Black Bear Golf Course right there in Canterbury Crossing, if I can get my mouth to work. So just another great community. So if you're looking at Parker, certainly I would suggest starting with those four, branching out from there. A lot to like about Parker. So basically, if you can deal with a very warm, very fun community that has festives and outdoor activities and off-leash dog parks, but doesn't have a great nightlife and maybe has gotten a little more unaffordable than we'd like to be, it sums up all of Denver pretty much. Parker might just be for you. And if you have any questions about it, that's a great opportunity to hit me up. A phone call, an email, a text, the number showing up on your screen, knowing I'm always the person. Answer those phone calls, answering those texts, answering those emails. This is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everts. That was the best reasons to call Parker, Colorado home. Until I have the chance to see you next time. Peace.